We are still in lesson 1 of unit 4, measures of position, but this time we will be focusing on the measures of position for group data. Now, what is the difference between group data and ungroup data? Actually, they are both types of data. However, group data has been classified into categories based on similar characteristics, whereas ungroup data is just simply raw data. Okay, so let's focus on group data this time. We have quartiles. For quartiles, these are the score points which divide the distribution into 4 equal parts. Again, 4 equal parts, that is quartiles. Okay, now for the unknown quartile, or denoted by Q sub k, is computed as follows. So the unknown quartile is equal to the lower boundary plus the quantity of the unknown quartile multiplied by the total frequency divided by 4 minus the cumulative frequency before of the quartile class over the frequency of the unknown quartile class multiplied by the class interval. Again, LB is the lower boundary of the unknown quartile class. N is the total number of frequency. And this is the cumulative frequency before the quartile class. This is the frequency of the unknown quartile class. I is the interval of the given distribution. And K is the nth quartile or the unknown quartile that you are looking for, wherein the value of N must be either 1, 2, or 3. Okay, let's have an example. Say, calculate the first quartile, the second quartiles, and the third quartiles of the mathematics test scores of 50 students. So, given the table, we have 2 columns. The first one is for the scores from highest interval to the lowest interval. So, we have 46 to 50, 41 to 45, 36 to 40, 31 to 35, 26 to 30, 21 to 25. Now, on the next column, we have the frequency. When we say frequency, this is the number of times an event occurred in an experiment. Okay? So, how many students get the scores from 46 to 50? So, we have 4 students. That is what we call frequency. Okay? So, 41 to 45, 8 students. 36 to 40, 11 students. 31 to 35, 9 students. 26 to 30, 12 students. 21 to 25, 6 students. So, step 1 in calculating the given, the unknown quartiles. Step 1 is you have to first complete the table. So, to begin with, the first 2 columns are the scores and the frequency that is given in our previous slide. Now, add another column for lower boundaries and add another column for less than cumulative frequency. Now, lower boundaries, or to be precise, that is class boundaries. These are the numbers used to separate classes. So, the size of the gap between classes is the difference between the upper class limit of one class and the lower class limit of the next class. So, what do we mean when we say lower limit and upper limit? So, if we have the given interval 46 to 50, 46 is considered the lower limit of the given class boundary, and 50 is considered the upper limit. Okay, upper limit. Now, if we have 41 to 45, 41 to 45, 41 is the lower limit, and 45 is the upper limit. Now, what is the class boundaries between the two? Okay, so get the lower limit of the other class to the upper limit of the next class, and then just simply get the difference. So, we have 46 minus 45. So, in this given distribution, the class boundary is equal to 1. Okay? Now, how do we get lower boundaries for each distribution? To get, wait, let me erase this first. To get the lower boundary of each class, just simply subtract half of the gap value. So, the gap value or the class boundaries is 1. That is 46 minus 45. That is 1. This is your gap. The gap between the previous interval to the next interval. Okay? So, this is your gap. Now, to compute for the lower boundaries of each class, calculate it by subtracting half of the gap. So, what is half of 1? Half of 1 is 1/2 or simply 0.5. Okay? Subtract half of the gap from the class lower limit. Okay? So, the lower limit here is 46. So, 46 minus 0.5, that is equal to 45.5. Okay, that's how we compute for lower boundaries. Now, there's an easy way for that. Because the gap is always 1. In a given group data, the gap is always 1. And you always subtract it with 0.5. So, you have 46 minus 0.5, that is 45.5. 41 minus 0.5, that is 40.5. This is 35.5. And then we have 30.5, 25.5, 20.5. Okay, in short, when you are dealing with, or if you are getting the lower boundaries, just simply add 0.5 to the previous interval, upper limit of the previous interval. Okay, so ito, 40.5, and then 36.5, 35.5, and so on. Okay. Now, for less than cumulative frequency, so for cumulative frequency, these are the distribution, or this distribution displays the running total of the preceding frequencies. So how do we compute for the less than cumulative frequency? You have to begin with the lower, or the lower part of the table for less than cumulative frequency. So you have to begin here. And you have to use 6 to get the cumulative frequency of all the given distribution. Okay, next. How do we get the next data in the given table? So that is just simply cumulative frequency. Tama? So cumulative, you're just simply going to add the frequency of the preceding to the succeeding. So that is just simply 6 plus 12. And 6 plus 12, that is equal to 18. And then we have 18 plus 9 is 27. And then 27 plus 11, 38. And then we have 38 plus 8, that is 46. And 46 plus 4, that is equal to 50. Okay? Remember that para hindi kayo para hindi aksayado sa time. Automatically, yung pinakataas na frequency must be equal to the total number of frequency that you are dealing with. Okay? Dun sa problem natin, meron tayong 50 students. So, dapat, ang pinakataas dyan, kapag inad mo lahat ng cumulative frequency is 50. Because that is the total number of frequency. We're dealing with 50 students. Okay? So, after completing the table now, we can now compute for the position. Okay? Again, we are computing for the position of the first quartile, second quartile, and third quartile. Let's first begin with the value. Should I say the position? This should be position. Let's start with the position of the first quartile. Okay. Now, in getting the value of the first quartile, we have first to determine the position of the first quartile. Now, the position of the first quartile is equal to Kn over 4, wherein K is the unknown quartile. We are looking for the first quartile, so this is K. And N is the total number of frequency. Again, K is 1, N is 50. Saan nakuha yung K? Kung ano yung hinahanap mo. You're looking for the first quartile. Okay, so this is, etong 1 na ito is your K value. Okay? N is equal to 50. Saan nakuha yung 50? Kasi yun ang total number of frequency natin, 50 students. Okay? Now, substituting it inside the formula, the first quartile is equal to 1 times 50 over 4. And 1 times 50, that is just simply 50. So, 50 divided by 4, that is equal to 12.5. That means we need to find the class interval where the 12.5th score is contained. Yun ang ibig sabihin nun. Okay? To find the value of the first quartile, hanapin mo yung position. Ngayon, ang position ng first quartile nasa 12.5th position. Okay? So, in the table, hahanapin mo dyan ang may score yung class interval na may 12.5 score. Okay? Nasaan dyan ang score na may 12.5? We have this score. Okay? Sabi niya, this score or distribution, itong buong ito, yan, contains the 7th to 18th score of the first quartile class. Okay? Ma'am, paano ko malalaman yon? Simple lang. So, yung last cumulative frequency natin ay 6. Tama? Okay. Saan mo hahanapin yung score na 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17? Wala naman nakalagay dito. Andito yon, nasa taas na. Okay? So, yung interval na yon ay sakop na ni 18. Okay? So, this is, eto may kasama siyang 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So, yung scores na yon sakop na ni 18. Okay? Now, nasan dyan yung pang 12.5th score? Okay, 12.5th score, eto. Tama? Ito yon, in between here. Andito yung 12.5th score. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, ang class interval na gagamitin natin ay ang may score na 18. Na cumulative score na 18. Okay? Now, next. With that, list all the needed data. So, ito lang ang gagamitin natin sa buong table. Okay? Now, next. This is the 7th to 18th score of the first quartile class. This is the lower boundary of the given first quartile class. This is the frequency of the first quartile class. And this is the cumulative frequency before the first quartile class. Okay? Again, the lower boundary we will be using is 25.5. The cumulative frequency is 6. The frequency is 12. The interval is 5. How do we know that it is 5? So, ang interval natin 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yun ang ating interval. Okay? Next. The Kn over 4 value is equal to 12.5. Next. Sabi niya, note that the 7 to 18 scores belong to the class interval 26 to 30. So, the 12.5th score is also within the class interval. So, ibig sabihin, yung hinahanap natin na 12.5th na score ay nasa 26 to 30 na class interval. So, ibig sabihin, kapag sinolve mo yung first quartile, dapat ang sagot niyan ay nakapaloob sa 26 to 30 na interval. So, kapag ang sagot mo sa first quartile class is, say, 25, mali yung sagot mo. Okay? Say, 21 ang nakuha mong sagot, mali. Say, ang nakuha mong sagot, 31. Mali pa din. Kasi dapat, ang sagot dyan, since na ang 12.5th score ay nasa interval na 26 to 30, so, ibig sabihin ng first quartile class will be either 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, and the decimals between them. Okay? So, nandito lang yung sagot natin na first quartile class. Pag sumobra dyan, ibig sabihin, pag sumobra or kumulang dyan, ibig sabihin mali yung sagot mo. But we have to consider lower boundaries. Okay? Ang lower boundary nito ay 25.5. At ang upper limit nito or upper boundary is 30.5. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, ang makukuha mong sagot dapat dyan ay is between or either equal to 25.5 to 30.5. So, pag kumulang sa 25.5, mali yung sagot mo. Pag sumobra sa 30.5, mali yung sagot mo. Yun ang ibig sabihin nun. Okay? So, let's proceed. Substitute all the given data in the given formula. So, LB will be substituted by 25.5. Kn over 4 will be substituted by 12.5. Less than cumulative frequency will be substituted by 6. The frequency of the first quartile will be substituted by 12 and I will be substituted by 5. Okay? Now, 12.5 minus 6, yung dito, is equal to 6.5. And 6.5 divided by 12 is equal to approximately equal to 0.542. By the way, para hindi tayo magkagulo sa decimal, ganitong gawin nyo. Since you are using calculator, pwedeng dire-diretso yan, specifically when you are scientific calculator. So, kapag in-input mo sa calculator mo yung 6.5 divided by 12, huwag mong burahin yung sagot. Okay? Yung sagot na yun, idiretso mo lang. Okay? So, 6.5 divided by 12 is approximately equal to 0.542. 0.542 times 5, ito pwede mong idiretso sa calcu. 6.5 divided by 12, yung sagot. Times 5 mo na agad siya sa calculator mo. So, times 5, that is approximately equal to 2.71. And 25.5 plus 2.71 is equal to 28.21. So, ibig sabihin, yung value ng first quartile is equal to 28.21. So, itong 28.21, located siya sa, saan siya nakaposition? Sa 12.5th score ng whole data. Okay? Yung interval natin, 26 to 30. With a lower limit of 25.5 and upper limit of 30.5. Now, ang nakuha natin sagot ay 28. Pasok ba siya sa interval na ito? Yes, pasok. So, ibig sabihin, tama ang sagot natin. Okay? And with that, you have to proceed with your interpretation. Okay? Importante ito. Kaya nga natin sinolve yung mga yan para ma-interpret natin yung given data. Okay? Now, for interpretation, therefore, saan nakuha itong 25%? Naalala nyo, ang quartile may 4, di ba? Ang quartile meron siyang 4. 4 sa distribution. Now, in between this is the first quartile, this is the second quartile, and this is the third quartile. Now, if we are going to relate it with percentiles, Q1 is 25% of the whole distribution. Second quartile is 50% of the whole distribution. And third quartile is 75% of the whole distribution. Now, when you interpret, you have to use percentage. Okay? Sabi niya, therefore, 25% of the students have a score less than or equal to 28.21. So, ibig sabihin, 1/4 ng estudyante, 1/4 of 50 students got a score less than or equal to 28.21. Yun ang ibig sabihin nun. Okay? So, this is now the value of the first quartile, 28.21. Next. We will now get for the value of the second quartile. But before getting the value of the second quartile, you have to first compute for the position of the second quartile. Okay? So, we are looking for the position of the second quartile. So, the position of the second quartile is equal to Kn over 4. Wherein K, so, second quartile lang hinahanap natin. So, ito yung K. Okay? So, K is 2, N is 50. Saan ulit nakuha yung 50? Dun sa total number ng frequency natin. Ilan bang pinag-uusapan nating scores? 50. Okay? Now, next, substitute, we have the second quartile is equal to 2 times 50 over 4. Pwede nang i-simplify ito, but for the sake of complete lecture, dire-diretso lang natin. Okay? So, 2 times 50, that is 100. 100 divided by 4, that is equal to 25. So, the position of the second quartile is in the class interval where the 25th score is contained. Okay? Nasaan yung 25th score? Okay? Titingin ka ulit sa less than cumulative frequency. Dito ka titingin sa less than cumulative frequency. Dito. Okay? Nasaan dyan yung pang 25th na score? Ito anong coverage ng 18? Ang coverage ng 18 is 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So, ayan yung mga position natin dyan. Nandyan yung mga scores na hinanap natin. Okay? But, the position of the second quartile is contained in 25th score. Nasaan dyan ang 25th score? Kanino bilang ang 25th score? So, after 18 is 19. So, ibig sabihin si 19 dito na siya kay 27. Okay? So, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. So, nasan dyan yung pang 25th score? Nandito. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, ang gagamitin natin ay itong data dito. Okay? So, there. Because 27 contains 19 to 27th score. And that is where the second quartile class belong. Okay? So, isolate mo yon. Isolate mo ito at saka yung kasunod niya. So, ito ang isolate mo. Okay? You have to isolate it for you to get the needed data. Okay? Now, for the needed data, this will be the less than cumulative frequency of the given data, but we will not be using it. Okay? Yun lang ang emphasis natin kung ano yung gagamitin nating data sa table. Okay? Next, so 30.5 is the lower boundary of the 25th score, and 9 is the frequency of the 25th score. 18 is the cumulative frequency before the second quartile class. And I is what? I is 5. Sa isang class interval, usually add number yung interval natin. Say, minsan 3, minsan 5, minsan 7. Pero commonly, ang laging ginagamit na interval ay 5. Okay? So, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, ang interval mo ay 5. Okay? Yan ang common na interval na ginagamit sa group data. Next. Lower boundary is 30.5. The cumulative frequency is 18. Hindi mo gagamitin yung 27. Gagamitin mo yung nasa baba niya. Okay? Kasi before ang hinahanap mo. Okay? Next, the frequency of the second quartile is 9. And the class interval is 5. And we already know the position. The position of the second quartile, that is kn over 4, is 25. Okay? So, nasa 25th position siya. Okay? Next, dun sa given data mo, ibig sabihin, sabi niya, since nasa 25th score ka, and 25th score belong to the class interval 31 to 35, that means the 25th score is also within the class interval 31.5. So, kapag nag-solve ka ng second quartile, 31 to 35 ang class interval dapat. And the lower limit of this is 30.5. And the upper limit of this is 35.5. So, ibig sabihin, ang sagot mo dapat na makukuha mo, yung second quartile value na makukuha mo dapat within this class intervals. So, kapag kumulang ka sa 30.5, mali na yung sagot mo. Pag sumobra ka sa 35.5, mali na yung sagot mo. Dapat within. Okay? Within the boundaries 31 to 35 and considering its lower limit and upper limits. Okay? Now, using the needed data, just simply substitute. Okay, so the lower boundary is 30.5. The cumulative frequency is 18. The frequency of the unknown quartile is 9. By the way, this is second quartile. Di ko siya na-edit. Okay, so for the second quartile. Okay, and I is 5. And kn over 4 is 25. So, substituting all the given values. Now, 25 minus 18. Ito munang nasa parenthesis unahin natin. 25 minus 18. That is 7. And 7 divided by 9, that is approximately equal to 0.778. 0.778 times 5, that is approximately equal to 3.89. 30.5 plus 3.89 is equal to 34.39. Okay? 34.39. Anong ibig sabihin nito? Ibig sabihin, 50% of the students have a score less than or equal to 34.39. Again, 50% of the students have a score less than or equal to 34.39. Yun ang ibig sabihin nun. Okay? Next. That is for the second quartile. Next, last na lang tayo. Third quartile naman tayo. Value ng third quartile. For you to get the value of the third quartile, you have to first compute for the position of the third quartile. So, the position of the third quartile is equal to Kn over 4. K is what? K is 3. So, Q sub 3 or the third quartile. So, ito ay K. Okay? So, K is 3. N is 50. Now, substitute it in the given formula. K will be 3 and N will be 50. Okay? 3 times 50, that is equal to 150. Divided by 4, that is equal to 37.5. So, ibig sabihin ang position na hinahanap natin ay nasa class interval na kung saan yung score na 37.5 or where the 37.5 score is contained. Kung nasaan yung 37.5 score. Okay? So, sa table natin, hahanapin mo saan ang 37.5 score dyan. So, etong 27, ito hanggang, this will be from 7 to 7 score to 18th score. Okay? Next, yung 27 naman, ito yung 19th score to 27th score. Okay? Ang hinahanap natin ay 37.5th score. Saan yon? Saan kabilang yon? Dito. Kasi ito, si 38, ang laman niyang score ay mula kay 28 score hanggang kay 38 score. Okay? So, ito yung 38. Again, si 38 contains the 28 score and the 38 score. Ano yung mga yon? 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38. Ang hinahanap nating score ay yung pang 37.5th score. 37.5th score. So, in between here. Tama? So, ibig sabihin ang gagamitin natin is itong data dito sa table. Okay? I-isolate mo kasama nung nasa baba niya. Okay? Again, 38 contains the 28 and 28 to 38 score, and that is where the third quartile class belong. Okay? So isolate mo yung dalawa. Same process. So this contains the 28 to 38 score of the third quartile class, pero hindi natin siya gagamitin. Okay? Next, 35.5 is the lower boundary. 11 is the frequency of the third quartile class. Okay? And 27 is the cumulative frequency before the third quartile class. Next, again, lower boundary is 35.5. Cumulative frequency is 27. Frequency is 11. I is 5. Kn over 4 is 37.5. So, ano sabihin nito? Sabi niya, note that the 28 to 38 scores belongs to the class interval 36 to 40. So, the 37.5 score is also within the class interval. So, 36 to 40. Ang lower limit nito is 35.5. Ang upper limit niya is 40.5. Okay? Since yun ang lower limit at upper limit niya, ibig sabihin yung hinahanap nating value ng third quartile ay is within this class interval. So, kapag ang sagot mo, mas mababa sa 35.5, mali yung sagot mo. Pag mas mataas sa 40.5, mali na yung sagot mo. Okay? So, substituting all the given values, we have now, the third quartile is equal to 35.5 plus the quantity of 37.5 minus 27 over 11 multiplied by 5. Okay? So, 37.5 minus 27 is equal to 10.5. And 10.5 divided by 11, that is approximately equal to 0.955. 0.955 multiplied by 5, that is approximately equal to 4.77. And 35.5 plus 4.77 is equal to 40.27. Okay, pasok ba yon? Ang class interval natin ay 36 to 40. Okay? Considering yung lower limit nito is 35.5, ang upper limit nito is 40.5. So, pasok ba ang 40.27 dito sa interval na ito? Yes, pasok siya. 0.27 is below 40.5. Tama? Below 40.5. So, ibig sabihin, pasok ang ating sagot. So, kapag sumobra ka sa 40.5, mali na yung sagot mo. Pag kumulang ka sa 35.5, mali na yung sagot mo. Okay? And then, interpret the given value. Sabi niya, third quartile is 75%. Correct? So, therefore, 75% of the students have a score less than or equal to 40.27. Okay? Again, 75% of the students have a score less than or equal to 40.27. So, that's how you compute for the quartiles of a given group data. Sabi niya, the third quartile 40.27 falls within the class boundaries of 36 to 40, which is 35.5 to 40.5. So, pasok ang ating sagot. Okay? So, that's it for quartiles for group data.